Welcome to Dark Corner's Horror Smackdown Round 2. In this round, we're taking a closer look at the bad guys, but we still want you voting for the best or your favourite film overall. Match 37, Cat People versus The Birds. With its limited runtime, Cat People is quick to identify the source of the threat, and visual cues litter the film from paintings on the wall to shadows of the furniture, and of course, Irena's nightmare.
There is in some cases a psychic need to loose evil upon the world.
But this is no standard were-animal story. What makes Cat People great is that the threat is never made explicit. Is Irena turning into a panther, or is it all in her mind? A psychological expression of her sexual frustration and jealousy of the other woman who may be able to give her husband what she cannot. The film pushed the production code as far as possible in linking Irena's troubled mind to a marriage she is afraid to consummate and the eventual infidelity of her husband, both taboo subjects in the early 40s. But is the change these things bring about in her physical or psychological?
I tried to make you realize all these stories that worry you so much nonsense. But now I see it's not the stories. It's the fact that you believe them.
In the end, it doesn't matter because the result is the same. The film's big question is not, do you believe this woman is turning into a cat? It's, if she's not, then do you believe she could do these things? Perhaps no other horror film exists so much in the mind, not just of Irena and other characters whose fear of her may or may not be justified.
What is the matter, Alice?
But in the minds of those in the audience, interpreting every shadow, reading into every silence. Cat People scares us because we let it, and because we want it to. Here at Dark Corners, we have great fun ripping B-movies for their out-there premises. But every once in a while, a filmmaker takes a batshit premise and makes a genuinely brilliant film. On paper, a story about birds turning on humans seems like a bad idea, and if you saw Birdemic, Core, or Birds 2, yes, there is a sequel, you would be right. But in the hands of the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock, you get a whole lot more. Knowing how ludicrous the premise of all birds turning on humans is, the build-up is handled very slowly and is seemingly used as a device to push characters together rather than horrify.
You all right?
Yes, I think so.
An hour into the film, there has only been one incident of a bird attacking anyone. Yet from the opening shot, we feel their threat growing. We get the usual dismissals and denials.
Birds are not aggressive creatures, miss. They bring beauty into the world.
But slowly the attacks build in intensity to the point where the casual sighting of a single bird signals to the audience that something far more insidious is about to happen. The attack on the children fleeing the schoolhouse shows how no one is spared from such attacks, and that perhaps, like in real life, the weakest are the ones most in danger. Of course, the most brutal attack comes when Melanie is trapped in an upstairs bedroom. By all accounts, the scene was as horrific for actress Tippi Hedren to film as it was for her character to experience. Other films will throw in some scientific or supernatural explanation for such events.
It's the end of the world!
But this movie offers nothing. In fact, Hitchcock's brilliant trailer for The Birds focuses exclusively on the wrongs mankind has bestowed upon our feathered friends, suggesting that this is the reason for their turn.
Beautiful cage, fresh water, no other birds to bother you, none of that blinding sunlight. Oh, now why would he do that?
The film ends with the threat of the bird attacks very much alive and far more widespread than just Bodega Bay. Although The Birds is the headline, they're there to tell a human story. Melanie Daniels has to grow up and learn responsibility. Mitch has to be willing to commit to a relationship, and his mother has to allow another woman into her son's life. Let us know your thoughts on these bad guys, and don't forget to vote on the horror film you want to see move into the next round.